So welcome once again to this module 2 in environment. We are going to deal with today the global environmental problems that we had seen in the last module. There are so many problems, but today we are going to deal with ozone depletion and ultraviolet B rays. So we will understand what ozone depletion is, and we will also understand the ultraviolet B rays. This module explains to us the terms ozone depletion and ultraviolet B. It also elaborates their characteristics and mechanisms, how they work. And it also evaluates the effects of this ozone depletion and what are the mitigation measures that we can take care. So ozone layer, my dear friends, as we understand, it is a protective blanket that protects us from the ultraviolet rays of the sun that come to us on this earth. And these rays or radiations that come from the sun, they pass through the layers of the atmosphere. Ozone layer is one layer, a small one. It's not a big layer or not a vast area, very small area where the ultraviolet rays of the sun, which can be harmful for us and for our health, they are filtered. And then those rays comes down and other radiations from the sun come down. Basically, it is placed in the stratosphere. We know the layers of the atmosphere. We have troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, mesosphere, and we have the outer space. So in this we have the ozone layer, the protective blanket right at the stratosphere, and that is a protective blanket for us. Now the problem is that this ozone layer is getting depleted, and that is because of the anthropogenic activities, what we have done, how we have been using the things in this earth. Now the increase, that is the depletion of ozone layer, leads to increased amount of ultraviolet radiations coming down to earth, that is to us, the living beings. The problem that has taken place, the thing that you can see over here, a big hole, and that is called as ozone hole. And this ozone hole can be seen over Antarctica, where the ozone layer has been seen as a big hole. That is, the rays can now directly come on this earth through this hole. The hole exactly will not be a big hole type, but the concentration of ozone will be depleted in that area, and that is how the rays can come down. Okay, now we try to understand a simple mechanism that takes place, and this is a natural mechanism that is taking place in the atmosphere. We know the layers, we can see the layers over here. Only two layers are mentioned over here: troposphere, that is just next to the earth, and the stratosphere. Now ozone layer is spread in the stratosphere. The mechanism that takes place over here, that is the ozone layer, what happens is, these are the rays that are coming down, and when the rays come down, the ultraviolet rays breaks the ozone molecule, that is O3. Ozone is O3, that is broken into oxygen and oxygen atom, that is oxygen molecule and oxygen atom. Once again, this oxygen molecule and oxygen atom, they come together once again by the action of light itself. So once again we have oxygen molecules and ozone molecules. So it is interchanging from oxygen molecule to ozone molecule, oxygen molecule to ozone molecule. And in this process, the ultraviolet rays that have come down, they give up heat, heating up the stratosphere. So this simple mechanism keeps taking place, and the ozone layer remains ozone layer. There is no problem This is the natural mechanism that is taking place. Now, when comes the problem? The problem comes when there's anthropogenic activity that is happening. Let us understand this process in a better way. When the sun rays come down, here this is what I have just explained, the oxygen molecules are photolyzed with the light, it is yielding oxygen atoms. And this process is a slow process. But the other process, that is ozone and oxygen atom, they are continuously being interconverted, and the solar ultraviolet rays, they break them, and this process happens fast. Then you get another oxygen molecule. Once again the process of interconversion will take place, and ultraviolet radiation will give up this thermal energy. That is how the stratosphere is heated or warmed up. Then ozone once again is lost by the reaction of oxygen atom and the ozone molecule with each other, and at this moment there is another thing that is happening, that is the anthropogenic activity. Traces of gases of chlorine, bromine, or the things that we have been using, something that we call as CFCs, when they try to enter into this reaction, the oxygen molecule or the oxygen atom that is available for reconversion into ozone, those are taken away by chlorine. And that is a process that actually leads to this so called as ozone hole. So these are the anthropogenic activities. We use different type of sprays today. Actually using them wouldn't be a problem, but the aerosols that we use, they give up these CFCs that are used in these items. And when they rise up into the atmosphere, they directly react with the ozone layer, and that is how it disturbs. We use refrigerators. Using refrigerators is not bad, but the way we dispose of the refrigerators, especially the compressors of the refrigerators, that is what is leading to the release of the CFCs that are used in these compressors, that are used in the refrigerators for the cooling effect. Even the factories that we have, there is so much of air pollution, and we release so many gases that deplete the ozone layer. We have sulfur oxide, we have nitrous oxides which go up into the atmosphere and destroy this ozone layer. We use our cars, we have the car exhaust that is coming up. We give out carbon monoxide, we give carbon dioxide, we give methane, and all these activities that we do, which we have already seen in the previous module, they are affecting the atmosphere, and in a special way at the stratosphere, the ozone layer which protects us from ultraviolet rays. And that is basically what we call as depletion. That is, the concentration of ozone molecules in the stratosphere is depleting. It is becoming less, it is diluting. And that is how the ultraviolet rays can come down. Now, what are ultraviolet rays? Ultraviolet rays, there are ultraviolet A, ultraviolet B, and ultraviolet C rays, depending on the wavelength. So, the ultraviolet rays from around 40 to 400 nanometers, they are like in between the X-rays, that is X-rays are below 40 nanometers and the visible light is above 400 nanometers. So, whatever comes in between these two in the electromagnetic spectrum, those are the UV rays, UVA, UVB, UVC. So, frequency is higher than the visible light and it carries more energy, so much that it can penetrate our skin. And if we just have a look at this presentation that is in front of us, the ultraviolet rays that come down from the earth, from the sun, they are reflected back into the atmosphere. Much of it is reflected back, but the clouds, they absorb so much of it The atmosphere itself, what we have referred to as Akash, Akash clears, the space clears most of these rays, and the ultraviolet rays, as they come down, or as there is increase in altitude, we see an increase of 4% of ultraviolet rays in that same area. And by the time these rays come down to us, that is on the earth, we have our homes, we do our activity indoors and outdoors. So the time when the intensity of these ultraviolet rays is highest is between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. What can protect us from these ultraviolet rays is the shade. It comes right down even in water, and it can affect the fish and the marine life that is there in the waters. So my dear friends, these ultraviolet rays that we see, ultraviolet C, ultraviolet B and ultraviolet A. The ultraviolet C has the least wavelength, and it can actually penetrate into our skin, but most of it is filtered in the atmosphere itself. Ultraviolet B is the concern because it comes down, and when the ozone layer, over here you can see the ozone layer will actually filter the ultraviolet B rays, but when it is depleted, the ultraviolet B rays also can come down to earth. So also the ultraviolet A, but being of higher wavelength, ultraviolet rays cannot penetrate deeply into our skin. So in the atmosphere itself, the ultraviolet rays will get cleared. So some of the artificial sources of ultraviolet radiation, the tanning beds that we use, some people want to, those who are fair, they want to get dark skin, tanning is used. Mercury vapor lightning, which is used at the stadiums or in our gyms, we need light, so we use this mercury vapor lightning today. We have the halogen bulbs, we have fluorescent bulbs, we have incandescent lights. They also add to these ultraviolet radiations. And even some type of lasers that we use. So that is how the artificial ultraviolet ray is also used. And what are the effects? It increases the rate of skin cancer, and skin cancer is dangerous. It penetrates into our skin, and we have something called as these melanocytes, which will cause the cancer called as melanoma, that is the skin cancer that we talk about. It also affects our eyes, eye cataracts, and today these cancers are seen to be increasing, the skin cancers, the eye cataracts. Why? Because the ozone layer is depleted and the ultraviolet rays are coming down right to us. And most of the time we are unaware and we don't protect ourselves from the ultraviolet rays. It can cause genetic damage. It can cause immune system damage, and we know how much the immune system is important for us, especially during this COVID times. We have understood that our immunity has to be very strong in order to fight these diseases. So my dear friends, if these are the problems, then there is also mitigation. And at the international level, there have been efforts that are made. If you look at this presentation that is given by NASA, in 1971, the earth was so good. The layer, that is the ozone layer, was intact. We can see these images of Antarctic itself. And now, in today's world, now we are in 2020, we are still facing the ozone hole. It has depleted. But now the mitigation measures have been started from Montreal Protocol in 1987, and the entire world, the United Nations have come together. It is signed by 197 countries. That is, all the countries of the world have signed to this Montreal Protocol, which regulates actually the production and consumption of nearly 100 man-made ozone depleting substances. And the world has come together to decide that by 2030, the hydrochlorofluorocarbons that are used and which are affecting the ozone layer will be phased out. So all the countries have contributed and are contributing so that ozone layer depletion is mitigated. And it is expected that by 2060 or 2065, that will be in your lifetime most probably, and the ozone layer will be recovered, and that will be a good thing for our environment. So till then, my dear friends, stay in shade. We need to stay in shade, especially at between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. when the intensity of ultraviolet rays is highest. If we are going outdoors, then use sunscreen. Now we use different type of sunscreens. Wear full clothes so that you are not exposed to the ultraviolet rays during that time, which have already come down. Use your sunglasses not only to look dashing, but especially to protect your eyes from the ultraviolet rays so that you don't get cataract. These are some of the references that you can go through. Learn more about it, be protected, stay safe. Thank you.